Hi, I'm Anna Finch. Welcome to my channel. So we're doing some live writing sprints. So it is Preptober, kind of late for it, but I'm going to be working on a children's picture book that I'm currently doing. I've got to get the storyboards done. So I have a rough idea of the layout of my picture book, the one I'm doing, because I'm actually illustrating this one. So I've got to do the storyboards, and once I've got a rough storyboard, then I can get a head start on designing the characters. So if I can get those things done, or at least the storyboard done today, and then do some writing for Unspoken, then by the end of October, I'll have the storyboard, I'll have the individual character designs done, and I can pretty much dedicate an hour a day, probably, to actually drawing on watercolor paper and doing the coloring. So hopefully, if all goes well, I can get all my illustrations done, even if it's not the cover, the illustrations themselves done, colored in, nice designed, and formatted. Then I can figure out how I'm going to actually put the words in and the fonts and everything. I have no clue as to the font. I know what page size I want for it, but yeah, trying to work out how to do it is another thing, because the watercolor paper I've got is the cold press, so it has like the little bumps. And for a children's picture book, I've got to actually buy the hot pressed one, or at least when I'm doing it, I'm going to get the hot press one because the paper is more flat. There's less texture on it, so when I scan it, it'll look smooth. And I'm trying to find paper that's pretty much the same size of a single page for the picture book. Yeah, I can't find any 8.5 by 8.5 pages, and I definitely can't find like 17 and a half by 8 and something in order to do a spread, because I'm doing all my illustrations by hand. So that's a challenge. The closest I can probably get to 8.5 by 8.5 is about 22 centimeters by 22 centimeters. And well, the closest one I can get to that is a 30 centimeter square hot pressed watercolor paper, but they only come in packets of 10. So I've got to I've got to go to an art supply store later today, and buy it. At the very least, if I can buy the hot press one in the square, I can cut it down or put sticky tape and cut it down to, or closer as possible. I can put like sticky tape or something on the edge that would be like the end size of the paper. Like, this is where this is not the bleed section, but anyway, that's going to be a challenge. I'll have to do all the tests and stuff on the cold press paper that I've got, scan it, fiddle with like the coloration and stuff. So if I do the practice, I can probably get the actual one done. All right, so I'm going to start doing some writing sprints. So I'm going to put a timer on the screen. Okay, cool. So this is our first sprint. Now, I'm not going to be writing. I am doing illustrating at the moment, at least for this sprint. And if I get those rough sketches done, then I will most likely move on to Unspoken, do some writing, because I've already got the main story for the picture book I'm illustrating pretty much done. I just need a proofreader. I had hoped to get line edits done, but my line editor did everything except line edits. They completely rewrote my story. This is the second editor. The first editor I had for developmental edits was amazing. They kept the voice of my story. and they just made some suggestions to improve it. But the second editor, oh my God, they rewrote everything. They didn't do so bad with the tiny non-fiction section at the end, but the entire story, I'm reading it, it's not mine. I'll explain a bit more about that later. All right, so we'll do a 15-minute sprint. I'll change the sound. Change the sound to that. Less shocking to the ears. All right. Let's get started. Just mute my I just realized that I was talking, but with my thing on mute. So I've only done 4 small like panels sketches for my picture book, and out of basically 32 images that I've got to draw, I've only done 4 of them. Because I had already done actually I've only done I did 2 of the pages last night, but so I've done 4 more. And I just realized I got a lot of characters on this page. Because I'm trying to keep it within the page range, the standard page range. I mean, I could make it so that there's less characters on the page, but it means that there's going to be more pages in the book. And if it's too wildly different, if it's too long, picture book wise, if it's too long, they may not pick it up, which is something I need to keep in mind. I mean, it's going to end up 4 pages more than the 32, simply because those 4 pages are pretty much front and back matter. The illustrations, in order for it to make sense, I've got to have those extra pages in there, because, for example, if it's the thing is saying who is hiding behind whatever it is, and then you've got the same thing that is supposed to be hiding on the same page, kind of spoils it. So I've got to do, like, if I got something like that, I've got to draw whatever it is the person's hiding behind, and the human character looking on the side to try and like peek what's behind, peek to see what's behind the tree, behind the whatever, and then have the next page with the other characters who are hiding behind that tree, or hiding behind the building, or whatever it is. So this is going to be challenging. I'm trying to keep the backgrounds and stuff very simple, and yeah, I realize that now I've got a lot of stuff to. I thought this story was going to be, oh yeah, fairly easy to draw, format, not a problem. And then I realized, yeah, it would be easy if I'm literally having 1 character, max 2 on a page. And then each line is on its own page. If it was cut down, the story, yeah, I could probably do that. But mine's 2 pages long. And this is with the edits. So it's a 500-word children's story. And this is for 3 to 5-year-olds. So I've got to have the illustrations. I've got to condense the stuff. So I've got to be picky about what am I drawing on, showing on the page. And the way this is going, yeah, most likely I will be doing the character illustrations on the watercolors on their own, like play white background, just draw the characters themselves, scan those, do them in like a big image, scan those to like 600 DPI or whatever. That way I can send it to someone so they can remove the background, and I can just have the character in different poses, different positions, all of them, and then I can paint the watercolor background, and then put the background, design the watercolor background, paint it for the different layouts, and then go on Photoshop, copy and paste my illustration of the character into the scene and move it around. That's probably what's going to end up happening in order for me to get some of these illustrations done and make them consistent, because drawing by hand, it's kind of hard to get the image, or for me, it's kind of hard for me to get the image the same every time. It's always something different. So yeah, I've got to get something that I can trace, so do the initial drawing and then trace over, but I've got to get the initial positions done. Yeah, this is going to be It's much harder than I thought. And I'm like, yeah, I'll just write a simple one and I can easily get it done, do it as a practice, see if I can do it for the other one that I'm doing, which is a dragon story. And I've got one human character, one, and I've got a whole bunch of animals, most of them the same animal, just different. One feature is particularly different. And that's a challenge. Anyway, let's do the next one. All right, we'll start the timer, 15 more minutes. All right. I'm going to finish this sprint early. It's taken me a lot longer than I thought to sketch out the storyboard. And it's almost lunchtime here. And I need to go to the art supply store as well. And if I don't leave now, I won't get there with enough time. I'll be doing live writing sprints at this same time for the next few weeks. I've already set up the live writing sprints for today. This is because I'm doing it now, and these on Saturday for me is because I'm now busy on Sundays. That may change in the future, but at the moment that's pretty much Sunday writing sprints for me is probably not going to happen, because that's when I do all my, pretty much on Sundays I do all my book markets when I go and do them. So my book markets are always on Sundays. Some occasionally they're on a Saturday, but most of the time it's on a Sunday. If it's like the Victorian, like the Melbourne Book Market, which is in the Queen Vic Market, I only do those on Sundays because parking is free on Sundays on the street, and it means that it's one less expense, because if you want to park all day at the Queen Vic Market, inside the market, you are looking at more than $50. And considering the price of my books when I'm selling them at markets, I'd have to sell multiple in order to make back that money. And then I've also then got to make back the money for booking my space at the market. So that's another thing I've got to consider. So Sundays are pretty much the only time I do the Queen Vic Market, because I can park on the street, go in there early in the morning, put all my stuff with my mum. My mum usually comes and helps me put my stuff at the Vic Market. My mum looks after it, and then I go move my car to the street where it's completely free at the moment. Hopefully it stays that way, but yeah, so all those sort of events, they're usually on a Sunday, and I've got other stuff that I do on Sundays now, so I can't really do it. It's too tight of a turnaround. I'd either have to do the live writing sprints much earlier to keep them on the same day, or much later, because I've not got much wiggle room for it. But yeah, so this is what I've got done so far. So I've only got those sketches done. I've not touched Unspoken because I need to get this done, so at least I know how many characters I need to draw. Honestly, I'm probably going to draw each of the characters on their own separate watercolor page, draw them large in the positions that they're in, that they're supposed to be in, scan them, remove the background, and then have those images as a file, and then create a watercolor background, the backgrounds by themselves with nothing else in them, and then I can basically layer it in Photoshop, so I can have my background, I can have my character there, I can add all the other characters. Now, obviously, with some backgrounds, I won't be able to do that. I'll have to, like, if it's a character peeking behind the thing, peeking behind something, it's kind of hard to get the character like on its own, peeking behind something in the exact spot. So I might have to draw the character in the scene, peeking behind something. But majority of it, I'm probably just going to do the backgrounds by themselves, scan them as their own file, scan the characters as their own file. Same DPI format stuff, and then move them around and put them where I want them to, because that's probably going to be the easiest way. This is going to take me a while. I thought I'd be done quicker with this, but yeah, look, based on how fast I'm going, like, this is just rough sketches, so I'm not making it look nice. Doing the proper sketches, doing a sketch, doing an animal sketch, one sketch at a time, I am looking at like an hour just a sketch. Then outlining it, if I decide to outline it, so outlining it, then another thing, another step I've got to do, I've got to then scan it, put the text on there, decide what font I want, place the text in the correct spot, and then print it out, make a dummy book, flick through it, make notes of what I want to change, and then do a whole new sketch for the stuff I want to change on, and sketch it, scan it, sketch it, outline it, scan it, and then watercolor it, or do the sketch for what I want and then watercolor it, and then outline it afterwards. And that's going to take me a while. So I'm just realizing how long this is going to take me. Why did I decide to do the illustrations myself? I have no idea. But I'm like, hey, I can draw. I'm like, I want to try it, see if I can do it for one of my other books. Saves me a little bit of money, but money versus time. I'm going to, by the end, when I'm finished the process and created it like fully, the illustrations colored in and everything, I've actually got to send it to some ARC readers and like, hey, I need feedback specifically, or not ARC readers, but beta readers, specifically for the illustrations. Do these illustrations work? Does the style work? If they're like, this is not great, then I'm going to have to then pay money, hire an illustrator to basically redo my entire book, which I don't want, so I'm trying to get it done perfectly. But yeah, that's it. I'm not going to do any more sprints today. I've got to go do some other stuff. All right, see ya.